I don't ever think I felt more empty and more broken after a sporting event than I did yesterday. That was just horrible and heartbreaking. Um, to have the opportunity, get yourself so amped up, so hyped up, getting the big stop you needed. You get what you want. A minute 40 left in the game. Your team has the ball. Touchdown wins it. And it ends the exact opposite of the way you wanted it to end. It's terrible. But not only that, when you just think back on the game and after the pick, you think back to all the moments that the Miami Hurricanes, my team, had to that they where they spotted Indiana points. They had to capitalize on opportunities to get points. You think of all those missed opportunities and those given handed gift wrapped opportunities they gave to the other team. It hurts even more. Just the last 24 hours, literally, I just can't stop thinking. Like, I want that game back. I want it back, but you can't get it back. And it's even worse that you have to wait another 8 months just to start the opportunity, to start the journey back to the national championship, which takes another 6 months on top of that. So another year before you can be where you want to be to get that, hopefully, get that opportunity that we had in our hands. The Miami Hurricanes should be 2026 national champions. I don't care what anyone says. Indiana played the better game in the first half. The offense was way too conservative in the first half. Um, but in the second half, Miami, man, they had it. Big run from Mark Fletcher. He got a big stop to open up the third quarter. Big run from Mark Fletcher gets us to 7. We should be balling, but block punt, Bauman, just like a New York City subway turn thing. Just here you go right through, pass right through, skip the line, and go ahead and block the punt. You know, Carter Davis at the end of the second quarter missing the field goal. You knew just he was shaky all season. He's been money. But at the same time, he's been shaky. It's just like barely going into that right upright, barely whiffing by that right upright all season. And you knew just every time he went up there, it was like he's gonna miss it. He's gonna miss it. He proves you wrong, but in the biggest moment, he proved you right, and he missed it. And that's a big 3 points because who knows? Carson Beck doesn't take that shot. That 3 points changes the philosophy of Kurt Cinetti going forward on 4th and 5. Maybe kicking the field goal to go up to where you only need a touchdown. When you need a touchdown to win or tie, it changes that field goal changes the whole game. It's more than just 3 points. It also changes the philosophy of Indiana and how they approach the rest of the game from that point on, and it also changes the philosophy of Miami, of course. And that's 3 points from the special teams right there. And then, as I just said, the biggest moment of the game that you look back on, the block punt. Um, that is a tremendous. Just that's what you can't have happen. You can't have the special teams fail you. These operations that are supposed to be like when you get a stop on third down and they're in their own territory and they bring the punting unit out, or when you bring the punting unit out, you're supposed to be like, okay, we're gonna punt it. This is guaranteed, or whatever. Nothing's gonna. They're not gonna be able. We're not gonna be able to score this drive. We're gonna punt it, flip the field, and they have to work out of their own field. No, you just spot them 7 right there. That's 10 points from the special teams. That cannot happen. Those are just the special teams need to be executed perfectly in these type of games, especially games where you're playing a tougher opponent. The number one team in the nation, undefeated. You cannot have these mishaps. You got to be all three phases of the game. Offense, defense, special teams have to be executed perfectly, and the special teams shit the bed. But that's not it. I feel like the first drive where Indiana got a field goal, so their second drive of the game, OJ Federic, he had a pick in his hands and he dropped it. I feel like that was OPI by I don't even know who broke it up. But I felt like that was OPI. He was definitely holding his arm, restricting him from grabbing an interception. I think that was 3 points too. Um, I think the offsides by whether it was Lightfoot or Bain that gave him the ability to go get the first down after that. There's multiple third downs where we just didn't get the stop. Of course, Ethan O'Connor couldn't guard a fucking back shoulder fade to save his life, but I mean, that's hard to guard, man. The point is, the receiver leans on you. You act like he's going straight. You know it's coming, but he's using his body to control your body, and he's coming for the back shoulder. We knew that was going to happen, and Miami did a good job, I feel like, in the beginning of the game. Once they saw Ethan O'Connor, they said back shoulder fade. Give me that. And they took it for crucial fourth and third downs. Fernando Mendoza, great run. Corey Heatherman said he knew that was coming. They've been running that play on fourth down and short and mid. They just didn't want to utilize that timeout that they'll possibly need, and they need it. Yeah, but despite all that, despite the blocked kick, the blocked field goal, despite the blocked punt, despite the missed field goal, despite what I just said about the possible interceptions, even Ethan O'Connor could have had a pick six if he didn't wrap his arm around. He wasn't. He was getting cooked all game, so he got spooked. He just wanted to go for the safe pass deflection. That's why he had a pick six handed to him, possibly, but he wanted to go with the pass deflection, safe option, because those DBs been getting cooked all game. Xavier Lucas kind of changed the game around. You saw when he came in the second half. Stupid ass rule where you get suspended for one half of the game. Dumbass shit. It's college football though. There's a lot of dumb shit in college football. But yeah, despite the missed opportunities, the Miami Hurricanes were down 6 with a minute 40 left. College football, get the first down, the clock stops until it's spotted, and Carson Beck did what we hoped he wouldn't do in big spots all season, and he hadn't done it really up until this point. Ever since that SMU overtime loss, he has not done this, and he didn't do it against Texas A&M, where he didn't throw the game-changing pick. He led the team down the field for a drive, but a lot of his drives were aided by the run game that was effective. The run game wasn't that effective in the first half, man. It was like Indiana knew our plays. They knew the stuff that A gap. But once Mark Fletcher finally saw to kick it to the outside, they tried to bring in Marty Brown after Mark Fletcher had this one play. I don't remember exactly where it is. I have no notes. If I had notes, they're deleted. I don't know where they're at. It's 24 hours since the game happened. Mark Fletcher had this one run earlier in the game where he could have kicked it out to the right, and I feel like he would have had 35 plus yards. After that drive, he went up the A gap, got stuffed. After that drive, they bring in Marty Brown. They tried to do the same thing on an outside sweep. Didn't work. Finally, Mark Fletcher saw that. Opened up the second half with the first offensive possession. Mark Fletcher, I don't know how many yards it was. It was the longest 70 yards of my life because it felt like, God damn it, Mark, keep running. I know you're passing this. Kick it to that second gear. He got it. He ended up getting a touchdown. But a lot of his drives were aided by the run game. Ole Miss, great drive, completed passes on third down. Ohio State, remember, had that big drive at the end of the game, aided by Marty Brown, but he was able to make throws. Texas A&M drive, aided by Big Mark Fletcher, but Carson Beck has not made the mistake in the big games up until the biggest moment where we needed him not to make the mistake. And there was no need for him to air it out there. You just look at it, Malachi Tony was wide open. You get the first down, the clock stops, reset. I think we had a timeout too. Did we have a timeout? I don't remember exactly. My brain now. But yeah. I'm broken. I don't know. I don't even know what to say. Carson Beck aired it out. Keelan Marion, if he threw it on the money, of course, probably a catch. He probably could have threw it over. I see what he was seeing. But it's also, you remember he got knocked on his rough the passer. He was woozy, trouble getting up. He said his ears were ringing after the game. And that could have affected it. I also think he's been underthrown balls all season. You saw in the Ole Miss, Ohio State, he's been underthrown balls all season. And it's because of that injury, obviously. You got to get used to. It's going to take a long time for him to get used to, just how much power you need to execute these throws. And that's why he shorts arm things. He doesn't know. He probably needs to put more. He has the arm. The arm is still, he has enough arm. It's not as much as he used to have, but he definitely has a big arm and a big enough arm to make that throw. It's just how much you need to put into it for it to be perfect. And he just, big moments like you see in the NBA. Big moments when the center gets right near the basket. Bam Adebayo, for example, gets right near the basket. You just need a little push shot. You're short arming because you're just thinking too much and overestimating or underestimating your power. Whatever which one makes sense. I don't remember. Yeah, Malachi Tony, great game. 2 big plays that led to cutting it from 24-14 to 24-21. Or shit. What was it? I don't even know. 24, yeah, 24-21 Indiana. He was great. That was it. I mean, I don't remember any other receivers doing anything, to be honest, besides Malachi. CJ Daniels, I know he had a big catch. Ball, he had a big catch, 3rd and 15, but other than that, that guy can't catch a fucking piece of toilet paper. Like, he couldn't catch shit. He can't catch nothing. I want to see him in the portal. Like, I'm not here to blame everybody. Carson Beck led us on a great run. He was good all season. He was worth the money we paid him. Ethan O'Connor, young talent. He's good. The back shoulder throws are tough. Definitely could have did better. DBs could have did better. Ruben Bain, of course, and Mesro were amazing. The linebackers, they could have did better, but I'm not here to blame anyone. Carter Davis, despite I feel like I had the yips more than he had the yips this season, just because looking at him, belly hanging out, sweating, long hair, mullet, just from my high school. But the one person that I'm just would rip if I had the energy to rip, and I probably will rip in the coming weeks when I keep reflecting on this game, is Alex Bauman. What are we doing? Execution has to be perfect, and you're just like a turnstile, just letting them go right through you. Here you go. Here's the path to the punter, who takes a whipping around, or whatever you want to call it. And I hate that in college if they do that, but that's the style of punting, and that's what he's been doing forever. And we should know this, and we should know that we need to block, especially when you're the last line of defense to the punter, right in his kicking angle. Like, you got to do your job better. And that's what cost this game, those 7 points. You cannot spot this team like this. A great team, one of the greatest teams that they're saying in CFP history. 7 points after you missed a field goal, after you're dropping interceptions, and it sucks. And we made them make the mistakes. They had the false start on 2nd 1 that ended up making it 2nd and 6. And we got the 2 consecutive stops to make them make a field goal and get the ball in our hands with a minute 40 left. We had them make the mistakes. We had Mendoza shook. We had him rocked. Jacoby Thomas nailed him. They were nailing him all game. I loved it. He was getting frustrated. He was. He made the mistake throwing it to that Ethan O'Connor where he baited him. He thought he would have the easy, where he thought Ethan O'Connor was giving his receiver too much bait. And he baited him, but he didn't go for the pick 6. He made the mistakes. We made them make the mistakes that everybody said they're too disciplined to make. Roughing the passer call on the last drive, we were not able to execute. We need to execute. Now, I think, and it's crazy, I'm not going to be able to live this down unless we win the national championship, because we should win. We should have won this game. If the special teams did their job, executed perfectly, we should have won this game. If OJ Federico comes down with an interception, we could have won this game. If Ethan O'Connor makes a pick 6, we could have won this game. If Carson Beck throws it to Malachi Tony for 10 yards and a first down, we could have won this game. If just one of those plays were to happen, we could have won this game. If there's no offsides on Lightfoot or Ruben, possibly we could have won this game also. If we stop Mendoza on 4th and 5, if they just kicked the field goal on 4th and 5, we could win this game. And there's just too many of those moments for me to not lose sleep these next coming days. And this is not a high energy video. This is a video for me to just get out what I need to get out. And it's probably boring, but it's just terrible. Honestly, terrible. I hate this. I'd rather my teams just not make the championship. Seriously. I mean, I love the Heat. I love the Miami Heat. That's one of my favorite teams. The Canes, one of my favorite teams. The Dolphins are one of my favorite teams. I like the Panthers. I'm not that big of a Panthers fan. Living Broward, they're right down the street from me. So I root for them, of course, but they weren't always there. I always used to watch them, but they were not always, they haven't been connected with my sports fandom. Parents didn't grow up watching the Panthers, so I wasn't really watching Panthers here and there. I like the Marlins. I watch the games, but I watch the games because there's nothing else going on during that time, so I get really into the Marlins. But the Canes, the Heat, those two things for sure are like top. And watching the Heat lose in the finals twice in 3 years, 2020, 2023, They were down 3-1. Like, it was gonna come. They were gonna make a 3-1 comeback. You knew that. This team exceeded expectations in 2020. So it was just a slow, you know what's gonna happen. You know the result. 2023, improbable run again. They were down what? When they tied at 1-1 and then they went down 3-1 and lost 4-1 to the Nuggets. You knew what was coming. You're not coming back 3-1 against this Nuggets team. Jokic finally gonna get his. Improbable run. You hope things happen. You get sad after. But this is one game. Magical. Just, you had everything. You had, like, it's a magical run, yes, because we were fighting so hard to get in. There's so much energy to get in. And that's also part of it. I feel such wasted energy. I feel tired for making the videos about getting Notre Dame and arguing with people that we should be in over Notre Dame, I meant. Just all that energy, and we finally get in. And we just slugfest Texas A&M and Hurricane Force wins. Um, Having the best team in the CFP, and Ohio State dominating them, playing our best game against them, going to Ole Miss. We have to face the style that beats us, and Trinidad Chambliss in this offense, and we go down the wire and beat them. And it's all hyped, and we know we had the team. Since the beginning of the year, I've known we had the team. Since we beat Notre Dame, I know we had the team. You know, going into the season, I'm telling people, like, this team is better than you expected. We lost Cam Ward, yes, but Carson Beck's in a different spot than Cam. He's probably in a better spot to start the season than Cam Ward was last season. He's obviously not better than Cam Ward looking back on it, of course. Never tried to say he was. Cam Ward's amazing. But you look at the whole team. Ruben Bain's back. Maui Noah's back. We got Hakeem Mesidor. I'll be honest, I didn't know too much about Hakeem Mesidor, but I was talking about Ruben Bain, Bryce Fitzgerald, guys like that. We got C.J. Daniels now. Malachi Tony, baby Jesus. You know, if you're from South Florida, you know Malachi Tony, the legend of Malachi. You know he's amazing. And we had it. Mark Fletcher back for another year. And then once you see the team perform, beat Notre Dame, beat up on USF, beat up on Florida, beat up on FSU, this is the best team in the country. Then we lose to Louisville and lose to SMU. But you know this team's talent's still there. You know what this team can do. You just got to do it now. And you got to convince everybody that you guys can beat teams. Well, we showed everybody we could beat top teams. We showed it. And we showed you that we know the Miami Hurricanes. We know that this team was different. And I know this team was different. I know this team had the ability to win a national championship. And the fact that you knew this team had the ability to win a national championship, they went through the gauntlet, got to the national championship, and got so close. It's heartbreaking. It seriously is. Because I felt like this is our best team to do it. The defense was there, the offense was there. The offense wasn't as explosive as you wanted, but it was there. The game was there. We couldn't execute on multiple things. It wasn't just the Carson Beck interception. It wasn't just a missed field goal. It wasn't just a block punt, even though I think that's what Main's saying. It wasn't just penalties here, penalties there. It wasn't just not being able to get third down or fourth down to stop. It was multiple. It was all multiple things. But if we just did one of those things, I feel like my Miami Hurricanes, our Miami Hurricanes are 2026 national champions. That's all I got. Man, I don't even know what to say. I'm hurt. Don't ask me if I'm alright.